Memorial Day, everybody. We are live from the Gem State. This is Boise, Idaho, in the Extra Mile Arena for Monday Night Raw. And before she defends the WWE Women's Championship live in Glasgow this Saturday night, the Nightmare, Rhea Ripley, is set for a one-on-one collision against Cora Jade. Rhea Ripley's clash at the Castle opponent. Roxanne Perez promises to be looming at ringside. Cora, Rhea, tonight in Boise. Also tonight here on Raw, the #1 Contenders Tournament for the World Tag Team Championship set to continue. Brutus and Julius of American Made take on Eric and Ivar of the War Raiders. It's going down right here on Monday Night Raw. But that said, #1 Contenders Tournament set to continue right here, right now.
The following contest is a tag team match scheduled for one fall. On their way to the ring, and a combined weight of 439 pounds. Tonga Loa and Tama Tonga, the Bloodline.
Well, for the first time, these two men officially make the ring walk here on Monday Night Raw, as 2 weeks ago, they certainly disrupted the playing field of this entire tournament. Tama Tonga, Tonga Loa, representing the Bloodline, ambushing Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn 2 weeks ago, stealing their spot in the first round, ultimately defeating the Street Profits, and arriving on the scene in flying colors here on Monday Night Raw. But it is a family versus family occasion in the semi-final round of the #1 Contenders Tournament for the World Tag Team titles.
And their opponents, and a combined weight of 472 pounds. Tony D'Angelo and Channing Stacks Lorenzo, the family.
Well, let us take a look at how this tournament has progressed over the last 2 weeks. The family turning away Los Garza in the first round. The Bloodline, as we mentioned, knocking off the Street Profits. American Made last week with a huge upset against the New Day. And the War Raiders return to action in successful manner against Awesome Truth. A hell of a first round over the last 2 weeks, but the semifinals take center stage. Wait a minute! Angel, Berto, Los Garza attacking the family at ringside. Oh, well, Legado del Fantasma as a whole has had a problem with the family for weeks, and certainly Los Garza getting knocked out of this tournament thanks to the Don, as well as the Underboss, did not help that Brewing issue. Well, the family's got to try to shake off the cobwebs here. They cannot be worried about Los Garza at the given moment. This matchup underway, and Tama Tonga trying to strike, while Stacks may have his egg scrambled, to say the least. We are underway here on Monday Night Raw. The #1 Contenders Tournament continues with the semi-final bout. Tama Tonga, there you go, cheap shot, knocking Tony D'Angelo off the apron. These two men arriving on the scene 2 weeks ago. You gotta believe Solo Sikoa, the current Intercontinental Champion, as well as his enforcer Jacob Fatu, were super influential in getting these two men through the door 2 weeks ago. Ambushing Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, taking their spot in the tournament, defeating Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford of the Street Profits, and now looking to run over the D'Angelo family here tonight in Boise. We are 5 nights away, ladies and gentlemen, from Clash at the Castle, live from the OVO Hydro in Glasgow, Scotland. Coming to you live this Saturday night at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, 4:30. The kickoff begins for No Nation Gaming channel members. There's a lot of action on hand tonight. #1 Contenders Tournament. Rhea Ripley set to meet Cora Jade. Damian Priest in the house for a rematch against Grayson Waller. It's going to be a busy night of action here on Monday Night Raw. Tonga Loa now in for the Bloodline with the Underboss, Tony D'Angelo, or I should say the Underboss Channing Lorenzo Stacks himself, trying to get things going for the family. Tony D'Angelo back up on the apron after a couple of cheap shots. Tonga Loa brought in enemy territory. Let's see if the family can get their wheels going here. After that ambush from Los Garza, and then being thrown right into the wildfire against the Bloodline. Tony D'Angelo, they call him the Don of Monday Night Raw. Certainly the powerhouse of the family. He's put on some size in recent months. Hell, he may be the whole powerhouse of this whole matchup. We'll talk about those issues between the family and Legado del Fantasma. Santos Escobar believes that it was Tony D'Angelo who was the reason he didn't get an opportunity at the Intercontinental Championship. Oh, there's a cheap shot for good reason by Tony D. Eye for an eye there. Tama Tonga getting knocked off the apron momentarily. We go back over a month here on Monday Night Raw. Intercontinental Championship. #1 contenders eliminator. Kevin Owens pinning Tony D'Angelo in a triple threat match that also involved Santos Escobar. That got under the skin of Santos Escobar. He blamed Tony D for that match going AWire. Santos and Tony D'Angelo met in a one-on-one match in recent time on Raw as well. The Don was victorious. And then add the family's win over Los Garza on top of that. Legado del Fantasma has been all kind of out of sorts since being drafted to Monday Night Raw 2 months ago and running into this looming issue with the family. Hence the reason why Angel and Berto trying to stick it to the Don and the underboss. And they might have done so. The Angelo family doing their best to try to get their bearings back with a Bloodline, a different animal, so new to Monday Night Raw. Ain't no way you can figure them out on the drop of a dime. Tama Tonga with a fall-away neck breaker. Tama Tonga, Tonga Loa, these guys are unpredictable on every sense of the word. Off the middle rope, another neck breaker. Tama Tonga trying to soften up that neck and shoulder region. Could be all she wrote here with the underboss still alive. It could be a huge victory for the family tonight. They can dust themselves off after that ambush from Los Garza and turn away the newcomers of the Bloodline in Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa. Finals of this tournament going to take place right here next week on Monday Night Raw. The winners of this bout, oof! Meet the winners of the contest coming up in just a bit between American Made and the War Raiders. Channing Lorenzo once again dumped right on that neck and shoulder region off the German. Send to enemy territory here. Tama Tonga in hot pursuit, but there's Stacks. Trying to get himself going. Fighting back here, realizing his back was literally up against the wall. Shot right to Tama. And the kick for good measures. Might have been a knockout blow. Remains to be seen. Not just yet. Tama Tonga still alive. Channing Lorenzo might not have gotten the victory that time, but he may have gotten the family back in the driver's seat. Tag made of the Don once more here in Boise, Idaho. Again, powerful maneuver. Irish whip pulls him back into the shoulder block. Tony D'Angelo using his assets where it counts most. Tama Tonga may have his bell rung off the shots from Stacks, and now Tony D'Angelo looking to rub some salt into those wounds. Said it before, we'll say it again, he may be the powerhouse of this entire matchup. You saw him ragdoll Tama Tonga that time. Into the corner he goes. Tony D'Angelo, hot pursuit, cuts him in half with a shoulder block to the abdominal. Tony D has got some wheels underneath of him, some fire in his belly, looking to do all he can to get the family to the finals of this tournament. Tama in trouble, float over into the bridge. Tama Tonga momentarily was looking up at the lights. Spine buster! This may do it. Oh, we gotta keep your eyes on Tonga Loa, who ensured this matchup would not be done just yet. A tag made to Stacks. The family trying to keep each other fresh here. Tama Tonga in a weakened state as Stacks heads up to the top, going for the crossbody. But might have gave Tama Tonga too much time to recover. Another cheap shot to the Don. How many times has Tony D'Angelo been knocked off the apron? Elevated DDT by Tama Tonga. Might have been a knockout blow, and it is. Tama Tonga scores the victory for the Bloodline.
Here are your winners, Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa, the Bloodline.
Well, we said a few minutes ago, Tama Tonga might have been softening up that neck and shoulder region of Stacks, and looks like it paid him dividends. That elevated DDT, a knockout blow, and ultimately the Bloodline are advancing to the finals next week of this #1 Contenders tournament. Turning away the Street Profits by hook or by crook, keeping down Stacks and Tony D of the D'Angelo family. Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa got a date with either American. Oh, whoa, wait a minute. Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn in the ring, returning the favor to the Tongans, who knocked him out of this tournament 2 weeks ago. An ambush by Owens and Zayn. Well, a brewing situation there, ladies and gentlemen, but we have to turn our attention to what is to come this Saturday night in Glasgow. The Second City Saint, CM Punk, is set to battle the Ring General Gunther, one-on-one for the first time ever. It's coming up Saturday night at Clash at the Castle. It's a rivalry that began in the final moments before the biggest stage of them all, WrestleMania. Two icons, two alpha males, on a collision course they didn't see coming. CM Punk, the self-proclaimed best in the world. Gunther, the once untouchable Ring General. Cold, precise, dominant, until Punk lit a fire he couldn't ignore. At WrestleMania, both men failed to capture glory. Mix that failure with the prior week's events. It left Gunther embarrassed, exposed, vowing to make Punk regret ever crossing him. And ever since, he's made it his mission to humiliate the Second City Saint. Parking lot ambushes, championship opportunities going haywire, multiple man brawls, verbal shots, and physical beatdowns. But Punk, he hasn't backed down. He's fought with fire, and slowly, he's chipped away at the armor of a former war machine. Now, for the first time ever, CM Punk, one-on-one with Gunther. No distractions, no escape, just two men with two giant egos and one undeniable truth. The path back to the top runs straight through each other. We are back live in Boise, Idaho, at a sold-out Extra Mile Arena for a Memorial Day edition of Monday Night Raw. Four superstars draped in red, white, blue, but they're looking to add some gold. And if they can make their way one step closer to the finals of this tournament, well, American Made could sooner or later be draped in gold. However, that'll be easier said than done for Brutus Creed and Julius Creed. It was a big upset 7 nights ago as they took down Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods of the New Day. But now they run in to Eric and Ivar. Raw is war!
And their opponents at a combined weight of 552 pounds, Ivar and Eric, the War Raiders.
Eric and Ivar, the War Raiders, know all about being the World Tag Team Champions. It was only a couple of years ago that they were on top of the entire division in WWE. But it has been some time since the War Raiders were on top, were in frequent competition, whether it was on SmackDown or right here on Raw. Many questioned whether the War Raiders' best time were behind them. But I think last week they silenced some doubters, returned to action in flying colors, and are now proving themselves all over again as possible contenders for the World Tag Team titles. Well, this should be a great contest live tonight on Monday Night Raw. We know that Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa of the Bloodline await the winner of this contest in the finals live next Monday night. Ivar, Brutus Creed gonna kick off this contest semi-final round of the #1 Contenders tournament. My God! Yeah, we saw that similar shot from Ivar last week here on Raw against R-Truth, and well, he just delivered the same thing to Brutus Creed in the opening moments. and nearly had this matchup put away. Couple of shots using all his weight. The War Machine, the behemoth known as Ivar, looking to get this done in a hurry. There's a tag made to Eric. The War Raiders, look at the speed, working like a well-oiled machine. Former World Tag Team Champions for a reason. Some nagging injuries keeping these guys in and out of action over the last few years, but the War Raiders looking to reclaim their spot at the top. There is an up-and-coming team who is looking to turn away the teams of old and start a new path in the tag team division, and that is Brutus and Julius Creed. We talked about last week in that matchup against the New Day that the Creeds have really yet to see success here on Monday Night Raw since joining the Red Brand. In about a year and some odd change since Brutus and Julius left the NXT brand, made their homes here on Monday Night Raw, but last week, no doubt the biggest victory of their Raw careers. They kept down a multiple time over former World Tag Team Champions in Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods, a team that just about a month and change ago were challenging DIY for the World Tag Team titles. There's maneuvers like this, tandem offense like this by American Made that helped them keep down the New Day last week. Could be another huge victory, another huge feather in the cap for Brutus and Julius if they can knock off the War Raiders tonight. And meet Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa 7 nights from tonight in Sacramento on Monday Night Raw. Tell you what, War Raiders came in House of Fire. American Made slowing down the pace, and this may be their best option here. Don't want to allow that rally. Don't want to allow. There's a cheap shot by Julius. Must have been watching the Bloodline matchup moments ago. You don't want to allow the War Raiders to dictate the pace. They'll beat you up, throw you around, dive around this ring. The crowd will be on their feet. It'll feel like fireworks in this building if the War Raiders have their way. American Made need to wrestle their style of matchup, but I'm sure with the tutelage, if we can get it out there, of Chad Gable, these young men feel they're only getting better. Tag made to Brutus, and there's some more tandem offense by the Creeds. These two young men, former NXT Tag Team Champions, the last time the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic Tournament was held in NXT back in 2022, these two young men were the winners. Will they be able to win this tournament and become #1 contenders here? Kick out there by Eric. The Creeds nearly had it. Gotta wonder if the prior matchup would have had a different result if it weren't for Los Garza possibly throwing. Oh, wait a minute here. Wait a minute. Keep your eyes. Hold on, referee. Hold on. Hold on. Chad Gable must have exposed that turnbuckle while Brutus and Eric were fighting on the opposite side of the ring. Well, Brutus Creed, Julius Creed, these two young men looking to take some underhanded tactics, it seems, to try and punch their ticket to the semifinals. Oh, trying to go for another cheap shot on Ivar. Didn't get what he wanted that time. Ivar with a rally call at ringside. They might have just pissed off the War Raiders. Eric off the reversal, unloading with strikes. Brutus Creed may rue the day that he threw Eric right into that exposed steel. Fall away slam by one half of the War Raiders that time. Brutus now in enemy territory. Tag made to Ivar. Uh-oh. Going high, going low. Double team power bomb. He can probably count to 20. Brutus Creed, well, you gotta give the devil his due. Kick it out. Well, there you see it again. Chad Gable exposed to that buckle as if referee Adrian Butler didn't just fix it up 90 seconds ago. Well, Ivar just trying to keep his eyes on the prize, trying to control what he can control in this matchup, and that's the legal man in Brutus Creed. Splash, scoop, and a slam. All of a sudden, the trajectory of this matchup has changed. Ivar now, hands on the singlet of Brutus. There's a shot right to the abdominal. Just had some power behind it as he knocks Ivar off his feet. Tag made to Julius. Oh, but he walks right into the spinning leg lariat. That's gotta feel like getting hit by a Mack truck. The behemoth That is Ivar. Whips off Julius. Around and around we go into the sidewalk slam. Leg drop by the big man. Ivar smells blood in the water, looking for the finish. Not just yet. Julius still alive. We knew this was going to be a good one here on Monday Night Raw. Both these teams cutting their teeth in the first round last week. The momentum brings them to the semis, where Julius was nearly just broken in half by Ivar. And now the big man heading up top. Julius created the drop zone. Massive leg drop from the heavens. And this thing, you gotta believe, was done and over with if it wasn't for Brutus Creed. Get the shovels. Outline Julius Creed's body on the canvas, because that man was done. Eric now tagged in. Looking to put the exclamation point on this matchup and secure the War Raiders spot in the tournament finals next Monday night. Oh, well, hold on here. Ivy Nile mouth it off to Eric from ringside. Julius now from behind. How he's still alive, I have no idea. Release German suplex on Eric that time. And again, you got to give credit where credit's due. We've seen some underhanded tactics by American Made throughout this matchup, but these two young men proving their worth in the tag team division the last couple of weeks. Another overhead throw to Eric. Julius Creed getting the second win. Somehow still has blood running through those veins after he was squashed, literally, by Ivar coming off the top rope a few moments ago. Eric now on roller skates gets sent into the Creed territory. Well, some have called Julius an absolute freak athlete. I think he's showing you that throughout this contest. What's he got in mind here? Going for a superplex. Holding Eric in the air. Blood rushing to the dome. The hesitation. The impact. Down goes Eric. Oof. Boise, Idaho on their feet for a spectacular battle. Eric rolled to the outside, which was probably the best case scenario for the War Raiders. All the while, Brutus has been tagged in. Saw that cheap shot on Ivar as well. Those are some of the traits, some of the tools that they've picked up from Chad Gable ever since the formation of this group. As of late on Monday Night Raw, now Brutus, reverse burning hammer. Down goes Eric. Ivar breaking things up. All's fair in love and war. Brutus probably thought he had this matchup won on a weakened Eric after all the offense by Julius. Just as Brutus saved the contest, for American Made a few minutes ago, Ivar doing the same for the War Raiders that time. And now Eric gets the knees up. Don't want to go to the well too many times with two world-traveled veterans in the War Raiders. Belly to belly by Ivar. Sending Brutus for an amusement park ride, though I don't think he found any amusement in it. Back into the corner. Tag made to Ivar. See what the War Raiders got in mind here. Look at the slam by Ivar. With an assist by Eric. Brutus Creed now on the apron, and oh, now it's Chad Gable. Now it's Chad Gable at ringside, mouthing off, trying to distract the War Raiders. Gotta watch your back. Brutus from behind, off the schoolboy. Not just yet. Not just yet. Ivar with the body splash. I think Ivar's had enough of any outside interference, any cheap shots, any distractions. Now he's going after Julius Creed. Eyes on Brutus. Stacking up American Made in the corner. Using one as a weapon to the other. Ivar coming unglued in Boise. Brutus got no idea where he's at the moment. Another tag. Eric the Leo competitor. And I think Brutus may rue the day. He got in the ring with the War Raiders. Eric taken down. Brutus Creed that time. Slipped up, but he was able to knock Julius off the apron. And, oh, wait, hold on here. Adrian Butler, he got to turn around. Chad Gable trying to distract the referee. Brutus is beaten. Finally, the pinfall. Shenanigans, but victory nonetheless.
Here are your winners, Ivar and Eric, the War Raiders.
Well, American Made did all they could to try to keep down these two War Raiders. But Eric and Ivar, hungry as all hell, wanting to reclaim their spot at the top. Turning away Awesome Truth last week, getting through American Made one way or another tonight. And now live next Monday night in Sacramento, the finals of the #1 Contenders tournament, as the War Raiders will take on the Bloodline for a shot at DIY's Tag Team Gold. Well, that is coming up next week in Sacramento. But ladies and gentlemen, just signed for right here tonight in Boise. After the events of earlier tonight, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are set to go 2v2 against the Intercontinental Champion Solo Sikoa and his enforcer Jacob Fatu. It's coming up tonight on Raw. Can't get enough Universe Mode? Well, now is your chance to secure a backstage pass to more Universe than ever before. Become a Noah Nation Gaming channel member and gain entry to exclusive kickoff shows before each and every premium live event. Also, witness bi-monthly house shows that directly affect your episodic viewing of Universe Mode. Also, take a peek behind the curtain and see how Universe Mode is brought to life each and every week. Hit the join button down below, become a Backstage Pass Noah Nation Gaming channel member, and get your front row seat to more Universe than ever before. It is a better time than any to become a Noah Nation Gaming channel member. Coming up on Saturday night, June 14th, it is the channel member exclusive Beach Blast live event from the Honda Center in Anaheim. Ilya Dragunov, Seth Rollins, Roxanne Perez, all signed on for Beach Blast. Hit the join button down below. Become a Noah Nation Gaming channel member. We want to take you back to some recent events on Monday Night Raw. There is a rivalry that has been brewing for damn near 2 months between the Intercontinental Champion Lyra Valkyria and the Unholy Unions Alba Fire and Isla Dawn. Isla Dawn got an opportunity at Lyra Valkyria some odd weeks ago. Lyra was able to retain the championship, but was laid to waste by Alba Fire in the aftermath. Dakota Kai getting involved in this rivalry as of late. Teamed up with Lyra Valkyria, they took on the Unholy Union. Dakota even tried her chance at the Intercontinental title last Saturday night at Saturday night's main event. But yet again, it was Alba Fire who laid a waste to Lyra. Alba Fire will not be satisfied till she gets her opportunity. And she indeed will this Saturday night in Scotland. On the Clash of the Castle kickoff show for Noah Nation Gaming channel members, Alba Fire, the Unholy Union, set to go one-on-one with Lyra Valkyria for the Women's Intercontinental Championship Clash of the Castle kickoff show. That is coming up live this Saturday night in Glasgow, Scotland. There is much more action on hand here tonight in the Extra Mile Arena in Boise, Idaho. The Aussie icon Grayson Waller, I'm sure, was picking splinters out of his back after his matchup with Obafemi 2 weeks ago. But now he looks for another rematch against a man who turned him away in recent competition, the Punishment, Damian Priest. Priest, he ain't in a good mood.
And his opponent from New York City, weighing in at 249 pounds, Damian Priest!
Well, we heard it from Damian Priest himself last week. He has been fired up, especially ever since his ex-partner, Finn Balor, became the #1 contender for SmackDown's World Championship on Saturday night. But Damian Priest has got to... Whoa, wait a minute! Wait a minute! That's the Judgment Day's J.D. McDonough from SmackDown ambushing Damian Priest. The hell's he doing here on Raw? We're about to talk about the threat from Damian Priest last week as he told Finn Balor that he would fly himself to Scotland if that was what he had to do to ensure Balor did not win the world title. Balor responded this past Thursday night and said that's if Damian Priest even makes it to Scotland. And here we go, Grayson Waller's left ringside. I don't know if we're going to have a matchup or not, as the Irish Ace is here, unexpected and unwelcomed on Monday Night Raw, ambushing the Punishment Damian Priest. Well, this is the last thing that I think Priest expected upon arriving to the Extra Mile Arena, but there he goes fighting back against the former Cruiserweight Champion. Well, Damian Priest has been fired up for the last 2 months, ever since he was stabbed in the back by Finn Balor, and hasn't been able to get his hands on Balor since the Judgment Day now resides on SmackDown. With JD McDonough crossing enemy lines, invading Monday Night Raw, trying to stick it to Damian Priest on behalf of Balor. Doesn't look like that's working out for him. Priest fired up, eyes locked on JD. JD about to go for a ride, Razor's Edge. Well, thanks for coming, JD McDonough. Balor sending one of his cronies to Monday Night Raw to try to do his dirty work, try to take out Damian Priest ahead of Scotland. Damian Priest having none of it. Oh, hold on. That's Finn Balor's music, and Finn Balor in the ring. Balor himself now, back here on Raw, invading a show he does not belong on, and once again, ambushing his old tag team partner. Well, looks like JD McDonough was a decoy, a distraction. Also, Priest would have his back turned yet again, and Finn Balor could come pick the bones. Well, Finn Balor said Damian Priest wasn't even going to get the chance to fly to Scotland and cost him the World Heavyweight Championship against Dragunov on Saturday night. But now Damian Priest fighting back, and for the first time since Balor turned his back on Priest, Priest is getting his hands on the Prince. Well, you had to believe time was gonna come. Judgment Day was gonna come for Finn Balor. Damian Priest has been waiting 2 months and change to get his hands on this man. And it isn't even Damian Priest that went hunting. It's Finn Balor who tried to take out Damian. Well, this is not a match, ladies and gentlemen. It looks like Damian Priest's match with Grayson Waller is completely off. Waller has left ringside and is probably in the backstage area getting dressed by now. But the action nonetheless going to progress as Damian Priest and Finn Balor are blown away here at ringside in the Extra Mile Arena. Priest has got his eyes and his hands on the steel steps and bashing him on Finn Balor's skull. Well, Finn Balor, who's got an opportunity at the World Heavyweight Championship against Ilya Dragunov in the SmackDown main event this Saturday night in Scotland, may be going in a weakened competitor because Damian Priest is about to rip Balor to shreds. Oh no, Priest with a steel chair. While Finn Balor able to put the brakes on. Balor used a steel chair to incapacitate Damian Priest and sideline him for weeks when he turned his back on Damian back in March, and out Balor with the chair to the formerly injured rib cage of the Punishment. And now the assault gonna continue. Well, Balor started this fight, and unfortunately, he may be the one to finish it. Balor just wailing away. And again, as we mentioned, the formerly injured ribs of Damian, and now chucking that chair right at the skull of his former tag team partner. Balor already injured Damian Priest once, and if Priest isn't careful, Balor may do it again. Coup de grace from the top. Damian laid to waste. Balor's going back up. A second coup de grace. He's gonna break the ribs again. Damian Priest already spent, 4 or 5 weeks on the shelf thanks to Finn Balor. This is what Balor was talking about on SmackDown when he said Damian Priest might not even make it to Scotland, might not even have the opportunity to cost him the world title. Priest said he would be the one to cross enemy lines. Unfortunately, Balor beat him to the punch. Oh no, now it's Balor with the steps. Moments after Balor has exposed this announce table and has got devilish intentions for Damian Priest. Well, everybody helpless to stop this. Nobody wants to get in the way of the most dangerous version of Balor we've ever seen on the announce table. Priest in trouble. Balor gonna lay waste to his former best friend. Brain buster through the table. Finn Balor keeping good on his promise. And I don't think Damian Priest even saw it coming, at least not tonight, not here, not now. Balor ensuring Damian Priest most likely won't make it to Scotland. And Balor's World Championship match is in safety. We'll switch gears, ladies and gentlemen, as we get some aid for Damian Priest out here. What about the Raw main event coming up on Saturday night? The WWE Championship going to be on the line. Braun Breaker defends the gold against the Apex Predator, Randy Orton. Let's take a closer look. We need some help for Priest. At Clash at the Castle, a generational collision takes center stage. 2 errors, 1 championship, 1 defining moment. The battleground, Glasgow, Scotland. The prize, the undisputed WWE Championship. Since capturing the title in December, Braun Breaker has been forged in fire, tested by legends, hunted by the best, and pressured by the weight of history. Breaker has met every challenge head on, yet through grit, fury, and relentless drive, he's not just holding the title, he's redefining what it means to be a champion. But this next challenge, it's one that can strike at any moment. Randy Orton, the Viper, the Apex Predator, a future Hall of Famer with nothing to prove and everything still to gain. At Saturday night's main event, Orton earned his way one step closer to the mountaintop. Now, with the most dangerous 3 letters in sports entertainment, RKO, he's hunting gold once again. These 2 titans have crossed paths once before. Breaker had his moment then, but now everything is different. 2 men, 2 different eras, one looking to build a legacy, the other looking to add to his. Who will rise? Who will fall? And who will walk out with the richest prize in the game, the WWE Championship? Clash at the Castle looming in just 5 nights from Glasgow, Scotland. But here on Raw, we are set for a women's division battle. Last week, Cora Jade with the victory over Alexa Bliss. Cora Jade and her best friend Roxanne Perez trying to outnumber Bliss, with the arrival of Rhea Ripley sending them running. Now Cora in the line of fire against the Nightmare. The woman at ringside, Roxanne Perez, set for a championship altercation this Saturday night against Rhea Ripley. And it looks as if Rhea has got somebody watching her back as well.
And her opponent from Adelaide, South Australia, the WWE Women's Champion, Rhea Ripley.
Well, Rhea Ripley coming to the aid of Alexa Bliss last week. It looks like Alexa Bliss going to return the favor and watch over the shoulder of the Nightmare, as she may just be outnumbered here tonight on Raw. But Rhea Ripley on the Raw after Backlash last month, live from Paris, France, stood in the middle of the ring and called out the Raw Women's Division, wondering who was going to be next to challenge her for her Women's Championship. Well, Roxanne Perez arrived on the scene. She was recently drafted over from SmackDown to Monday Night Raw. Perez throwing her name into the hat, and in recent weeks has solidified herself as the #1 contender for Rhea Ripley's championship. Roxanne Perez with all the credentials. Former women's tag team champion, former women's world champion, as voted by you, the fans, was the 2024 Women's Superstar of the Year. But with all those accolades, it may still not be enough to keep down the ever-intimidating, ever-dominating Eradicator, Rhea Ripley, live this Saturday night. We await to see who will walk out of the OVO Hydro on Saturday with the Women's Championship. But tonight, former Women's Champion herself, Cora Jade, back into the ring with Rhea Ripley. These two women familiar with each other. And they are set to lock horns all over again as Cora Jade hot out of the gate and going right after the Nightmare here on Monday Night Raw. We're talking about the accolades of Roxanne Perez. What about the accolades of Cora Jade? Last year, a huge breakout year for Cora here in the WWE. Women's Money in the Bank holder, cashed in a month later at SummerSlam, defeated Bianca Belair to become the Women's Champion. Cora Jade actually retained that championship during her reign in a triple threat matchup against Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley, going all the way back to the month of September. Cora Jade and Roxanne Perez, as we previously mentioned, former women's tag team champions. These two women have solidified themselves some significant spots, whether it was over on SmackDown or right here on Raw, but Rhea Ripley just a level above the rest. Rhea Ripley really sank down to what many called rock bottom in 2024, losing the Women's Championship and having to start all over. But winning the Royal Rumble match at the top of the year, defeating Tiffany Stratton at WrestleMania, one of the best matches of the year thus far. Retaining against Stratton, back at Backlash. Rhea Ripley has had a comeback season, if you will. Roxanne Perez looking to spoil that come Saturday night in Glasgow. Cora Jade looking to soften up Rhea Ripley, not only physically but mentally as well. A victory for Cora tonight could certainly shake the confidence of the Women's Champion ahead of her title defense on Saturday. Again, Alexa Bliss watching over Rhea Ripley's shoulder tonight, opposing Roxanne Perez, who looms at ringside. That had a lot to do with the events of the last 2 weeks, as Cora Jade and Roxanne Perez have been assistants to each other in victories over Alexa Bliss. It was last week on Raw that Perez and Cora nearly took steel chairs to the flesh of Alexa as Cora takes down Rhea with the Hurricane Rana that time. Could be about to knock off the champion, not just yet. Rhea Ripley coming to the aid of Alexa Bliss last week. Now the odds seemingly even. Live here tonight in Boise. Oof. Cora Jade, nice takedown to Rhea Ripley that time. Snapmare into the drop kick. Cora Jade, all the tools to once again be at the top of the division. This Saturday night, she gives the reins to Roxanne Perez. Cora Jade with a non-title victory over Rhea here. Hell, she can put herself in line for a championship opportunity. And just imagine, if Cora Jade can win tonight, if Roxanne Perez can win on Saturday, well, we may see a world where these two best friends are eventually colliding over the Women's Championship here on Raw. We'll get ahead of ourselves here. Pure speculation. Remains to be seen if Cora and Roxanne will have that luck respectfully. Rhea Ripley continuing to survive. However, Cora Jade dictating the pace of this matchup over the last minute and change. Rhea Ripley has had some incredible bouts in 2025, most notably the two against Tiffany Stratton. Roxanne Perez, who is former Women's World Champion, as we talked about, only became the face of the SmackDown brand, or at least one of them, in the better part of 2024. She's looking to recapture that success here on Monday Night Raw in 2025. Rhea's stomping away on Cora in the corner. The power as she muscles up Cora Jade and emphatically slams her down to the canvas. Rhea Ripley not looking to see momentum go AWire just days before she flies to Glasgow, Scotland for championship defense against the prodigy Roxanne Perez. Rhea Ripley with a dropkick of her own. Cora Jade looking up at the lights of the Extra Mile Arena. And Roxanne Perez on the apron, trying to distract Rhea Ripley, take the champion's eye off the ball. Well, it's this kind of assistance that allowed both Roxanne and Cora to get the upper hand over Alexa Bliss the last 2 weeks. And Rhea Ripley could be about to suffer the same fate. Off the distraction, Cora Jade right back into control, sending the champion to the corner. Could be looking for the little Chicago knee, followed with a bulldog. This could be a huge victory for Cora Jade here on Monday Night Raw, but Rhea Ripley still alive. Cora and Roxanne Perez spent some weeks away after losing the Women's Tag Team Championships to Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill back at WrestleMania, but they have returned over the last month and made themselves forces to be reckoned with here on Monday Night Raw all over again. They're young, they got attitudes, but they are certainly successful. And Rhea Ripley, prime target for both Cora and Roxanne this week. Rhea Ripley set over the top rope. Roxanne Perez putting her hands on Rhea, sending her back inside the ring. There's absolutely no reason Roxanne Perez needs to be inserting herself like that. Rhea Ripley's more than capable of getting back into the ring by herself, but Cora Jade looking to pick the bones of the champion. Nearly putting this matchup away, but Rhea still alive. Cora Jade thought she had this matchup won. Ever since the first distraction from Roxanne Perez, it has been one-way traffic. Rhea Ripley looking up at the lights of the Extra Mile Arena here in Boise, Idaho. Maybe in trouble as Cora once again off the single leg takes down the champion. Rhea Ripley worse for wear, not the kind of state she wants to be in 5 nights ahead of a championship defense. Off the knee in the corner, Cora Jade, middle rope, Rhea prime target, going for the senton, nobody home. Big boot by the champion. And all of a sudden, Rhea Ripley's got daylight. Overhand shot to Cora Jade. Cora on the shoulders, going for a ride out of the electric chair position. Cora Jade crashing and burning off that senton, and it pays Rhea Ripley dividends. Cora now in trouble. Rhea measuring the opponent. Looking for a riptide on Cora Jade. Victorious 5 nights ahead of Glasgow.
Here is your winner,
Rhea Ripley successful tonight, but will she have the same luck against Roxanne Perez this Saturday night at Clash at the Castle? After the dust has settled at Backlash, the road only gets rougher. The journey takes us across the sea to a land of warriors, a country of legends. This is Scotland, the heart of the Highlands, and live from the OVO Hydro Arena in Glasgow, WWE brings the fight to the proud and passionate fans of the North. In a place where every echo feels like thunder, and every battle feels like war. Titles will be defended, scores will be settled, and history will be written in stone. The stars are coming, the stakes are rising, and when the clash begins, only the strong will survive. Live from the pride of Scotland, this is Clash at the Castle. It is coming up live this Saturday night for the OVO Hydro in Glasgow, Scotland. 5 p.m. Eastern start time for Clash at the Castle. Of course, the action going to begin 30 minutes prior for No Nation Gaming channel members on the Clash at the Castle kickoff show featuring the Women's Intercontinental Championship defense as Lyra Valkyria puts the gold on the line against one half of the Unholy Union, Alba Fire. These two rivals finally meet. The Intercontinental Championship hangs in the balance. And you just saw her in action moments ago. The WWE Women's Champion Rhea Ripley able to outlast Cora Jade, but can she keep down the former Women's World Champion from SmackDown, Roxanne Perez? She's been hunting Rhea Ripley. They finally clash on Saturday night. And this matchup just announced after the United States Championship bout went haywire at Saturday night's main event. Joe Colby and the megastar LA Knight will meet again this Saturday in a Glasgow street fight. Anything goes for the United States title. It is a homecoming for the Women's World Champions challenger, Piper Niven. She has been running through the Kabuki Warriors as of late on SmackDown. Io Sky looks to stand tall and defend her championship against Piper Saturday night in Glasgow. And speaking of homecomings, the Scottish Warrior Drew McIntyre, alongside the Celtic Warrior Sheamus, have got a date with Destiny. They take on Fraxium, who called out the challengers. The WWE Tag Team Championship will be on the line. We took a closer look at the rivalry earlier tonight. This Saturday night, these two men finally come to blows. For the first time ever, one-on-one, the Ring General Gunther meets the Second City Saints CM Punks, two icons in this industry in the squared circle. Finn Balor making his presence felt, and questions remain unanswered as to if Damian Priest will be able to make the trip to Scotland. Finn Balor may have exactly what he wants, a fair fight against the Mad Dragon Ilya Dragunov for the world title at Clash at the Castle. The Monday Night Raw main event features the undisputed WWE Championship on the line. The Apex Predator Randy Orton dropped Braun Breaker with the RKO 7 nights ago on Raw. If he strikes again on Saturday, we may be leaving Scotland with a new WWE Champion. All of that action coming your way from Glasgow this Saturday night at the OBO Hydro Arena. But we got a main event live on Monday Night Raw.
The following contest is a tag team match scheduled for one fall. On their way to the ring, and a combined weight of 478 pounds. The team of Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn.
Where you're looking at two men who have been thorns in the side of Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu for weeks and vice versa. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn making their presence felt earlier tonight, ambushing Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa eye for an eye after the ambush 2 weeks ago. But that, of course, catching the attention once more, the Intercontinental Champion Solo Sikoa and the Samoan Werewolf Jacob Fatu. Officials left with no choice but to finally put these four men in the ring and let them loose. This is going to be a good one here on Raw.
And their opponents, and a combined weight of 535 pounds. Jacob Fatu and Solo Sikoa, the Bloodline.
We remember back to the night that Kevin Owens defeated Ludwig Kaiser to become the #1 contender for the Intercontinental Championship. He was laid out by Jacob Fatu after that matchup. Fast forward to Backlash back on April 27th, and Jacob Fatu certainly being a presence in that matchup, allowing Solo Sikoa to defeat Kevin Owens and retain the Intercontinental title. 24 hours later on Raw, Sami Zayn stepped into the Samoan Werewolf and once again outnumbered Jacob Fatu with a big-time victory over Sami Zayn on that night. Owens and Zayn trying to step into the tag team field once again and enter the #1 contenders tournament 2 weeks ago, but were taken out by Bloodline representatives in Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa. And there you see the frustration written all over the body language and the actions of Kevin Owens as this matchup is underway. We are sounded off in your main event. Owens and Zayn tired of being outnumbered, tired of the frustrations that have boiled over with the Bloodline, looking to take the fight to Solo and Fatu here tonight in Boise, Idaho. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn dropping the Tongans at the top of the hour here on Monday Night Raw. They're looking to do the same to Fatu and Sikoa before this night comes to a conclusion. Solo defeating Kevin Owens. Fatu defeating Sami Zayn. Kevin Owens over the top rope, taking out Jacob Fatu. Owens and Zayn looking for a different result in the tag team realm tonight. As we know, Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa will meet the War Raiders next Monday night in Sacramento to determine the #1 contenders for the World Tag Team titles. That has got to sting for Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, knowing that very well could have been their spot. Former World Tag Team champions that lost the gold at DIY back in WrestleMania. Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens with a 3D of sorts. Or maybe a 1D out of the Usos playbook on Jacob Fatu. Either way you spin it. Owens and Zayn added some tricks to the arsenal that time. Trying to do all they can to keep down this wild Samoan werewolf. Solo Sikoa, as if he needed an enforcer, as if he needed somebody to watch his back, bringing Jacob Fatu onto the scene here on Monday Night Raw. Zayn and Owens looking to neutralize him. Zayn through the corner, tornado DDT at ringside. Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens with rockets strapped to their back tonight. They are all over Jacob Fatu, who has gotten absolutely no offense since this matchup kicked off. Rare sight since Fatu's debut 2 months ago. Exploder by Sami. Jacob Fatu, worse for wear. Sami Zayn realizing it, looking to get the victory here. This would be Jacob Fatu's first loss since joining Monday Night Raw. Defeated Bronson Reed in a singles contest in his in-ring debut. Defeated Sami Zayn a couple of weeks ago in Paris. Fatu, oh my goodness! Running over Zayn that time. We're about to say Fatu and Solo Sikoa off the Samoan drop. These two men turned away the Street Profits last month at Spring Stampede as well. Jacob Fatu, all the punishment that he just withstood. Trying to survive the early storm now as he sends Sami Zayn into the corner and tags in the Intercontinental Champion Solo Sikoa. And Sikoa brings down Sami. You know, who knows what the result of Backlash would have been had Jacob Fatu not been on the scene. Kevin Owens very well may have left Lyon, France on that night as the Intercontinental Champion. Solo Sikoa with now eyes literally in the back of his head with Fatu watching his back. Owens and Zayn have been outgunned, they've been outnumbered, but they are not backing down. Solo now whipping off Sami Zayn. Pop-up Samoan drop by the Street Champ. Into the cover. Zayn in trouble, but barely able to get that shoulder off the canvas in time. Oh, there's a cheap shot on Owens. Classic Bloodline, and now sending Sami Zayn over the top rope. Solo Sikoa's confidence has only continued to grow. Adding Jacob Fatu to the scene. Opening up the door for Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa. You know, it goes to show you how much Solo Sikoa not only has grown physically, but mentally as well. We watched for months Solo Sikoa shift into what we call the most dangerous form of that man we had ever seen. It's what led him to winning the Intercontinental Championship against Big Bronson Reed back at WrestleMania in the beginning of March. Solo Sikoa has seemingly started to create an army to surround him, trying to protect himself, protect the Intercontinental Championship that he was chasing since last summer. Jacob Fatu, this guy's just cut from a different cloth. How the entire Anoa'i family is. Solo Sikoa bringing in superstars who I don't think many fans thought would ever see the light of day in World Wrestling Entertainment. But Solo does not give a damn, and neither does Jacob Fatu. All the talent in the world, absolutely no morals. That is Jacob Fatu for you. Running over Sami Zayn, who has been the first target of attack ever since Fatu and the Bloodline started to take over. Sami Zayn just getting isolated, getting picked apart by Fatu and Solo here. Tagged back to the Intercontinental Champion now. Sami and Kevin Owens might have got one up over the Tongans earlier tonight, but Solo and Fatu may be getting the last lap before this night's over. Sami Zayn able to put the brakes on there. Nice uppercut to Solo Sikoa. Sami Zayn has made a career off being the underdog after not backing down time and time again. Maybe Sami Zayn's got something left in the tank. Sami! Blue Thunderbomb on Solo! Oh, and Solo Sikoa able to kick out. Sami obviously a little frustrated, but can't be surprised. Solo has taken no damage in this matchup. It has been one-way traffic since Jacob Fatu took over for the Bloodline a few minutes ago. Much needed tag to the prize fighter Kevin Owens. Solo Sikoa might have kicked out, but his bearings have been shook. Intercontinental champ now sent to the outside. Owens in hot pursuit. Over the top he goes. Senton. Boise, Idaho coming unglued here as Kevin Owens has lit a new fire in this main event. Over the top rope, coming crashing down on Solo Sikoa, followed up with the senton, now off the top of the frog splash. To the lower back as well, the one that got dropped with the blue thunder bomb, into the cover, Solo nearly put away. Kevin Owens thought they had this matchup in the bag. Owens and Zayn have been dealing with this bloodline problem. Looking to finally stick it to Solo and Fatu tonight after weeks of coming up short. Owens, pop up, powerbomb. Again, Solo Sikoa able to kick out. The Intercontinental Champion still alive here on Monday Night Raw. Tag back to Sami Zayn. In about a minute or so to recoup. I don't know if it was enough. Solo immediately catching up with that shot right to the throat and followed up with a spinning Solo, and now turning his attention to Kevin Owens as well. Solo fighting his way out of enemy territory. May not like the attitudes of the bloodline, but ain't nobody gonna question the talents. Tag back to the Samoan Werewolf, the enforcer of the bloodline, Jacob Fatu. Sami Zayn on wobbly foundation, another pop-up Samoan drop. Cover by Fatu. Kevin Owens back inside the ring to ensure this matchup is not done just yet. Oh, Kevin Owens knocked off the apron. Owens may have just delayed the inevitable, which is the bloodline coming out on top if this continues. Jacob Fatu, eyes locked on Sami Zayn. Zayn worse for wear, getting met with those headbutts, looking up at the lights of the Extra Mile Arena. Sami Zayn again, as we mentioned before, on wobbly foundation, ragdolled into the corner, brought down to his ass. And Jacob Fatu just levels him. Said it before, we'll say it again. Jacob Fatu has bursted on the scene thanks to Solo Sikoa. All the talent in the world, absolutely no morals, now hoisted on top with his eyes locked on a weakened Sami Zayn. Jacob may be taking a little bit too long here, waiting for Sami to get in the position he so desires. And that's exactly what's gonna happen as Sami Zayn sidesteps the Samoan Werewolf. Zayn, brainbuster! The brainbuster to one wild Samoan. Fatu took way too long. Cannot give Sami Zayn that much R&R. Cannot hesitate. Zayn now on the outside. Jacob Fatu may not know where he is off that brainbuster. Sami taking a page out of the late great homicidal, suicidal, genocidal, death-defying Sabu's book. Back inside the ring goes Fatu. Sami Zayn may be nearing a huge victory. This could be a big-time feather in the cap after everything the Bloodline has put these two men through in recent weeks. Sami going, Fatu in! Tornado DDT! Fatu has gotten dropped on his crown a couple of times at this point. Gotta have his eggs scrambled. But Fatu again still alive in what has been a hell of a main event here on Monday Night Raw. Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens got a chance to stick it to all members of the Bloodline tonight. He tackled Tama and Tonga at the top of the hour. Jacob Fatu now battling his way out of the corner somehow, some way. Defeated Sami Zayn a couple of weeks ago by help of Solo Sikoa, maybe about to repeat history. Another cheap shot on Owens. I need more than two hands to count the amount of cheap shots that all Bloodline members have delivered in their respective bouts tonight. Sami Zayn, however, not looking to be denied. Off the pop-up, off the drop kick, sends Fatu in the corner. Sami Zayn with a shot of his own to Solo. Haluva kick to Jacob Fatu. Eye for an eye, all's fair in love and war. Sami Zayn keeps down the Samoan werewolf.
Here are your winners, the team of Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn.
Well, they stuck it to Tonga and Tonga low earlier tonight. And now even in the odds with Jacob Fatu and Solo Sikoa. A huge win for Owens and Zayn. But ladies and gentlemen, we will see you live at 5 p.m. Eastern Time this Saturday night at the OVO Hydro in Glasgow, Scotland for Clash at the Castle.